So about 3 years ago, when the Moderatana party started, I really was inspired by the vision of both making a party in the middle to keep out the extreme parties, but also a party that would think of very long-term solutions, because I was very annoyed that in the different election system, we were only thinking 4 years at a time instead of what is the most important thing in the long run, especially for our children. I'm 28 years old, and can still remember my youth, and I think there's a lot of very important things to fight for, and a lot of that takes place in the municipalities, in our cities, and that is what made me want to run for the elections.
Why you chose moderates?
Moderaterne for me was the party, maybe even the only party that really would think long term. Like we have to make plans not for the next 5 years, but for the next 10, 20 years.
But moderates,
Mhm.
Lars Løkke Rasmussen
Yes,
was the previous prime minister.
yes.
He was not moderate, was not formed at that time.
Yes, so in the past, I have looked at some different parties, but have not been inspired. When Lars Løkke Rasmussen went out of politics after his falling out with Venstre, he came back with a new vision, which he then presented, and that vision made me want to get into politics. So that's why I chose Moderaterne.
All right, I have seen many moderates running elections in this municipal elections. And Lars Løkke Rasmussen has got close ties with India. He has traveled to Gujarat. I was traveling with him, and he have met Modi many times as a prime minister and now as a foreign minister. Do you think that also influences to have some Indians in the party?
I think so, definitely. That Moderaterne is a party which sees that we need to work together across countries. You mentioned some things. For example, in 2020, there was the India-Danish partnerships on the green partnership and the environment, which is very important for both countries, and that has influenced, of course, when you see that people are willing to work together rather than screaming, then that attracts Indians and myself included. And we need to work together. One of the things that what we focused on the past couple of years is also partnership for doctors and nurses between Denmark and India, which we need because of the demographic situation here in Denmark.
Okay, you mentioned about doctors and nurses. Do you think they can just come from India straight away and work here?
No, not just straight away. Definitely there needs to be some educational programs. Some of these roles involves interacting with other people, and you need to have the language. Smitha, which also is running for Moderaterne, has mentioned that the language is the most important thing. And I agree with that. So not uncontrolled, but India has a very large youthful and educated population, and there's a couple other countries that I could mention as well, and that is important. That is why I think it is a good partnership to have.
Okay, how did you come in contact with Lars Løkke Rasmussen?
Actually, very simply, I just enrolled in the party. Anybody can support the party and become a member, and then you are welcome to the events. And then I went to the events, and that really surprised me how small actually our democratic system is, in the sense that it's very easy to meet people in power. And I did that, and that is how I met him the first time.
And how do you find him?
Him personally, I find him very good. He's very relaxed, very easy to talk to. Of course, he's very busy, so it's not so often. But he's just like you and me. I don't feel like he's so different. And I actually was surprised that what I felt like he enjoyed the most was actually speaking to people who are not already in politics. You could really see that mattered a lot to him.
Okay, now now you're running from Copenhagen,
Gentofte.
Commune.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more where Indians can vote? They have to live in commune, or how does it function?
Yeah, so there's three different categories. So there's some Indians who have obtained citizenship. They can just vote like anybody else. Then there might be some Indians who have EU citizenship, so citizenship of another EU country. They can also vote. Also the UK and Iceland and Norway. And lastly, there are Indians who have been here, or anyone who has been here for more than 4 years, and for example is on a permanent residence. It depends a little bit on what kind of stay you're on. They can also vote, and that is very unique to this election because they cannot vote in the other elections, but they can vote in this one because this was one that affects them the most.
Can they vote anywhere in Denmark, or some restrictions are there?
No, they can vote anywhere. There's two ways to vote. You can go up to your commune and you can vote, or what's called early voting, like we saw during Corona. This became more and more popular. Or they can go on election day to those of the voting places.
No, I mean to say, suppose somebody lives in Odense. Can you vote in Copenhagen?
Oh no, you can only vote in the city that you're living in.
Only the city that
Yes.
you're living in.
Yes.
Now, if you are elected,
Yes.
what good you will bring for Indians? Forget it, not Indians,
Yes.
but Danes.
I was just about to say, I am running for everyone. I was born and raised here in Denmark, and I'm Danish, but of course have strong attachment to my roots in India, and I want to help all, not only Indians, but also Danes. Of course, my main things are schools and school facilities. It's why I went into politics. I've seen both for Indian kids and Danish kids and everyone that they are not good enough for being such a wealthy country. Take anything from the classrooms to the school toilets. So I will improve those. And then also the traffic facilities, and with all the construction, and a lot of times people are saying it doesn't make sense. Why are they doing it like this? This affects everyone who goes to work, and a lot of not very smart decisions by our commune. So I will work to improve those for everyone.
One very tough question.
Yes.
Do you think these political parties, they try to manipulate foreigners? I mean, they try to have one or two candidates from different communities, try to get votes, and then forget about it.
It's an interesting question. I can, of course, I cannot read the minds of other parties or of anyone really. I think maybe yes, it can be possible that, for example, you run a woman to get female votes, or you run a foreigner to get foreign votes. I cannot say 100%. I can only speak for myself that for me, I've been in politics for a long time, and my party, even the non-foreign candidates, all agree on the same vision that we should also appeal to foreigners because they are such an important part. I believe last year foreigners made 12% of the GDP in Denmark. We would be a much poorer society if we didn't have foreigners in Denmark. So they are very important, and I think all parties realize this, and that is also why. When you live here, of course, your politicians should also look like the people that live in the cities. So I think it's only natural that there will also be some foreigners running. And we have had for a long time also Indians. We've had an Indian origin minister as well that many people will call. So I don't think it's about pandering. I just think it's the reality of the people that live in the city. So me personally, I financed it from my own pocket. I was actually quite surprised when I went into how little support you get. It also makes sense because there's thousands of candidates. So you get like, I think 25 posters, a couple of flyers, and the rest you have to finance yourself. So 80% of it, maybe more, I financed for myself. I've got some donations from my family, a couple of friends. So it's all based on personal connections and people who believe in you, but most of it has come from my savings.
If the person is not attached to some party, can he run the elections on his own?
Well, no, not really. There are a couple of people who collect signatures to be eligible to run. I think it's 25 signatures they need, but I don't remember for the municipality elections. There's also actually another election called the regional election where they need 400, I believe, or 500 signatures to run for that. So it's possible, but then they actually sort of start their own party, or we call it a list. So it is possible to run without one of the established parties, but it's definitely much easier if you're running with one of the parties.
Any message you want to convey to your fellow Indians?
Yes, please check if you can vote. And if you can, it is your right, it is your voice. You come from the world's largest democracy, and what I also say is the world's largest logistical operation whenever there's an election in India. Now is your chance to vote in Denmark. And it might be your first time, maybe you've done it many times, but do vote, it's your right.
Anyway, I wish you good luck with
Thank
the
you.
elections, and thank you so much being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Indiavision. Please subscribe to keep updated on any new videos that we release, and give us a thumbs up with your comments if you've liked this video.